Hello out there in video land. Thank you for tuning in here. I'm just going to get my radio guys up and running here. Yeah, here we go. Let's get this recorder on and away we go. Your city, your voice. Finally Friday. And, I was going to say, this has been a long week. But you know what? It's been a short week, actually, because there was a holiday on Monday. So you tell me why I figure this has been a long week. And I'm just going to adjust this mic so there's a little crackling. Don't worry. I want to see it because last time it conked out on me, and I want to make sure if I see it, it conked out. I do have another mic here that I can use, so I'm not too worried about it, except that I don't want it to happen again. And of course, my name is Paul K. Lemire. Welcome to Your City, Your Voice. On a finally Friday, it's a beautiful day out there. I mean, we're headed into a high pressure system that's going to bring us some great weather. They're talking about it maybe even into the 20s. You can imagine that for October 18th. We're 13 days away from Halloween. Man, oh man, I wish this could continue on for Halloween so these kids can get out there and not get wet and not get rained on or have any inclement weather bothering their Halloween. Because, that always happens. When we were kids, when it was a clear day like this, we went out, it was fun. It didn't matter about the cold. We were kids. But man, when it rained in that, it's just a miserable time to go out. We went anyway because, what do kids know, right? But I sure wouldn't want to go out there right now. And nowadays, their parents go with them because you can't trust any of these maniacs on the street. You can't send kids out alone today. So they got to stand out there in the rain too, which means we're going to have less kids. We usually don't get more than 20. So, yeah, very low in our neighborhood. So my show coming to you live from 4680Q Radio in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. For all you people who don't know where the heck I am out there, if you're listening in or watching the video, yeah, we're in Niagara Falls, and we're about a mile from the falls right here in downtown Niagara Falls. So if anybody was down this way, and you wonder where the heck we are. Well, we're not that far from where you stood at the brink of the falls and watched one of the 7 natural wonders of the world flow. We had the 5th natural wonder of the world in here yesterday, the godfather of Gabagoo, Dominic Caruso, came in. And that was a fun time. He's got great opinions on different topics. He's kind of tuned into the city, and he knows what he'd like to see. He ran for city council before. So great guy, Dominic. And it was a pleasure to have him in the studio. I don't get him in too often, but when I do, it's always fun. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. Let's get to our sponsors. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. So we're going to tackle first. Well, Wild Bill. Let's tackle Wild Bill because, we look out the window and this weather's deceptive. We know how nice it is out today. We look out there and we go, this is sunny. This is beautiful in the sun. I mean, you can get a tan today. Well, maybe you can. I don't think I can. The sun's too far away for me. It's got to be closer. The July weather. But at the end of the day, you know what's coming. We know what's coming. And what you want to do is you want to be proactive and make sure your car's running tip top. So what do? You take advantage of Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop's free end of summer inspection. That's right. They're doing end of summer inspections where they're going to look at your brakes, your suspension, your tires. They do a computer scan of your systems in your car to see if there's any, what do you call those? Any defaults or whatever the heck it's called. Error codes. I think that's what they call them. Error codes. And they scan that and tell you if there's any problems. They also check your fluids, lighting, and they take your vehicle for a test drive to make sure everything's good with the brakes and all the safety features so that you can have a great time motoring in the winter because that's not the time you want to break down. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, full body shop. You go in there, if you get in a smash 'em up derby or a minor fender bender, take it to Wild Bill's. Ken Hunter will take care of you. He'll have your car in and out in showroom condition, so everybody will be happy. Where do you find them? Down on Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls, right next to the Kia dealership. Very, very simple. Go see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop today and tell him, Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. You'll be happy, I'll be happy, and most of all, your car will be happy, and your car will treat you right. And that's what you want, right? That's what you want. You want your car running correctly in the worst time of year, the winter, when it's miserable to have a breakdown. Okay, so let's get on here. What do we got here? Like I said, you got to get up the sunscreen. For some of you today, you could get burnt out there. The people who are sensitive to sun, wear some sunscreen, and we got a real crew going on out here. I wish I could turn the camera around. We got these wackos out in the street here. I don't know. He reminds me of a short hair Steven Tyler. Yeah. So we wanna make sure you don't get burnt by the sun. You can, believe it or not. I mean, the UV index might be high today. I don't know. It's not affecting me too much though. And what do we have coming up after Finally Friday? Well, we have a city council agenda review on Monday, and Davey Boy Wheeler will be in the wheels. Dave Wheeler is going to be in the studio to do the honors with me on Monday. And from what I did, I took just a preliminary look at the agenda, and from what I see, um, we have a one planning issue that's got to be attended to by City Council, where the old Dairy Queen mini putt used to be on Lundy's Lane. If you know where I'm talking about. And there's a couple of budgetary items that need approval, including this year's Santa Claus parade and the lighting of Queen Street. And I was glad to read that, because last year, if you don't remember, these cheapskates at City Council, they wouldn't spend the money to light up Queen Street. Now, you got to understand how bad this is. We are known as the biggest winter festival of lights in Canada, probably. We're the granddaddy down by the falls. 70 displays and millions and millions and millions of lights and all the trees and bushes and everything else. And we don't even have 2 cents to light up our downtown last year. It was dark. It was a mess. There was a moose without a tail down on Queen Street. I don't know, some other junk, but that was sad. And a lot of people commented on it. Were disappointed in City Council because they didn't bother to put up lights on the city downtown, who is known for the Winter Festival of Lights. Come on. Come on, you bacalas. Well, they're going to do it this year, it looks like. So this year they're going to do it. They're going to put lights up. I think they heard our message loud and clear, because there's a lot of people talking about this and disappointed, and they're not going to make the same mistake this year. Congrats to everybody in the city that made it clear what they expected downtown at Christmas to look like. And this year we're going to get our lights. Wahoo. Yoo-hoo. Oh, they're in big bins. They're in big trailers down there. They don't know where they're right down the street, or you go down Park Street. There's these big containers that look like crap sitting on that property there. Well, they're full of the Christmas stuff. I think that's where they store it. I know it's crazy, but oh yeah. So we're gonna get lights. There's also a couple of reports to go through, as well as motions from the mayor and some budgetary items to go through as we roll towards November 26th, the special capital budget meeting, a week after the November 12th regular council meeting. So we're rolling up to that. We're not that far away. We have a meeting on Monday, which is at the 22nd or something like that. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, we have the November 12th meeting. And then we roll right into the special capital budget meeting, where we're going to take a look at the budget for this year, which should be very, very interesting. Also, we have the crowning of Chris Dabrowski. That's right. He's going to be sworn in. He's the recycled member of council that got voted out last time. And because Wayne Thompson stepped down, they didn't have a by-election or anything crazy like that. They just appointed the next guy on the list, which was Chris Dabrowski, who came in 9th. He's being moved up into the chair and into council. He steps in from the 9th spot. And of course, if anybody else steps down, the 10th spot would have been Vince Cario, if you remember. So there you go. That's the order, in case we don't have a full council on by the next election. Vince Cario would be stepping in. Now, I want to watch closely, and there's a dynamic. There's always a dynamic on city council. People jostling. Well, for camera time for sure. We see that happening a lot. We see people getting up and grandstanding all the time for they want camera time. I'm gonna adjust this mic a little bit up here. There you go. Okay, if it's making racket, pardon me. Pardon me. Um, but yeah, so we see jostling for camera time, people getting up grandstanding all the time, and in that regard, I gotta wonder who is going to take Wayne Thompson's chair. Now it's going to be interesting. Are they going to plop Dabrowski in that chair? Thompson vacated it. Dabrowski gets it, or is one member of council going to move up to the mayor's left-hand side? We know Peter Angelo's on the right-hand side, and then Strange. There is a pecking order here. And then the others, Ruth Ann Newestag and Wayne Campbell. Then on the other side, we have Wayne Thompson, so that chair's empty. And then Mona Patel, Tony Baldinelli, and Councillor Lori Lococo. So we have all those councillors. Now, I'm willing to bet that Councillor Mona Patel is going to make the move to that chair. Don't ask me why. I just got a feeling. Every photo op available, she's right attached to Jim Diodati's hip. She's right there, tucked right in, sidled right up, and it seems to be a natural place for her to take over. Every photo op, it's the same thing. Diodati, Patel on his left, attached at the hip. Siamese twins, if you want to call it that. So I don't see that changing in city council chamber. She's got the arrogance to move right into that chair. There's other people who've been there longer and maybe deserve that chair. It is a chair that's special, but I got a feeling she's going to move right in there. That's the way it is. I just know it's going to happen, and I don't know. I don't ask me why. I can see it happening. But there's going to be a battle for that chair. Any predictions out there in video land? Who do you think is going to be sitting in that chair on Tuesday when the meeting starts at 4:00? Am I wrong? You think it's going to be Councillor Patel or maybe Councillor Strange will move over there? Maybe Councillor Lococo will move into that chair. I don't think so, though. I don't know if Councillor Lococo's got too many questions for the rest of that club, and they may not want her there. But I mean, if you want to take the most competent counselor, the one who does all the research and knows all her stuff the best, that would be Councillor Lococo. And then again, Councillor Dabrowski could just plop his butt down in that chair, and that's it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that pecking order goes. I'm putting my money on Patel, but who knows? I think she'll sidle into it. Speaking of the budget, we have to watch closely as they go through that. From what I can figure out, and nobody has challenged me on these numbers, so they could be right, they could be wrong. I think they're right, but nobody said you're wrong. Paul, you got to straighten this out. Nobody said that yet. I'm sure somebody will eventually if I'm wrong. But I figure there's about $80 million floating around. So all this talk about raising taxes is nonsense to me. I don't accept it. I won't accept it. And, if council would just, just get together and just say no, the staff, no, we want a zero budget, come back with a zero budget. We got to cut this. Who cares? Cut it. The people are going to cry. Well, let the people cry. When they get their tax bills, they won't be crying. Believe me, that'll repair everything. That'll fix everything. That's their Band-Aid. When they see their taxes never went up and there's a freeze this year, let them cry. The deficit's really on paper, though, if you think about it, right? I mean, there's 80 million floating around, and I can tell you what it is. I can tell you what it is, and a lot of it's just on paper, and it's sleight of hand. It's just like this, you get the thing like that, and you're like this, and it disappears, and you go, look at, I got nothing in my hand, nothing up my sleeve, my hands are empty, and then all of a sudden you bring it back, that kind of thing, right? It's sleight of hand. So it's accounting, creative accounting. That's what it is. So they got all this money and they still raise our taxes. And the biggest sleight of hand, I would say, that I've seen for the last 3 years is the casino funds. In the ledger, it's accounted for as $14 million. Now we know it's going to be 20 to 24 million this year. So there's 8 million, $6 to $8 million that isn't accounted for. They said we never got it. We only got 14 million. That's all we're going to get. That's all we're going to account for. So once it comes in at 24 million or 22 million, whatever it's going to be this year, it's looking around 22 to 24. Then that extra 8 or 9 million, where is it? Well, you know what? It wasn't put in the ledger, which means that there's a shortfall when they figure out what we have to pay, and they raise our taxes 5% or 4%. But at the end of the day, they got this $8 million. They didn't have to raise them. They know darn well that number's coming in higher, but this is a way for them to play games with the numbers. And if they do that on big projects where they can overestimate the project by 2 or 3 million, if a project's they're going to redo a bridge or something, it's 8 million or 9 million. They say it's got to be 12 million. And then they come in at 8 million. Well, that's 3 more million they got. And when you look at it, I figure we've got about 80 million floating around, and you can do the math. I think as much as 50 million from the sale of Niagara Regional Broadband to Cogeco. I don't know what it went for. I don't know what they got for it. No numbers have been disclosed to us as shareholders. I mean, we own Niagara Regional Broadband, right? Right? Any money that's in Niagara Falls is our money, taxpayers' money. So where's the numbers? We don't know. We don't know. I've asked the questions every month. Nobody brings it up. Nobody knows nothing. And they sold it last January. So we're 8 months, 10 months into the year now, and we still don't have a number for that. So there's, I don't know, could be 50 million. We have another 8 to 10 million of casino revenue that hasn't been accounted for, right? They said it was 14. So there's 60 million, maybe. 7.5 million for transit that don't have to spend anymore. Right? So, what are we up to? 67 million, another 1.3 million for a hospital fund we don't have to put money into anymore. We're closing in on 70 million there, and there's probably another 10 million floating around. So I don't know. Do they need to raise our taxes when they got that kind of money sitting? And if I'm wrong, disclose the numbers. Please show us the numbers. And we'll see what we got for Niagara Regional Broadband. They might have only got 10 or 15 million for it. I don't know. I figure a broadband network, wireless network that Cogeco wants to buy, I would say that it's worth more than that. But hey, I've never owned a broadband company and sold it to Cogeco, so I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I do have an educated guess because Niagara Lake owned 25% of that. And I think their share was something like 13 or 15 million. So if that's a quarter, then the total sale would have been for 60 million, because a quarter of 60 million is 15, which would put our take at around 45. So that's how I'm deciphering it here, but I don't know. And I don't know what the details of the contract are, because they could say, well, pay us on time. You don't have to pay us right away. Pay us in 5 years or 10 years or whatever. We don't know. This is the problem. We don't know. There's no transparency here. And if we don't know, it makes goofballs like me guess. And when I guess, I'm going to guess to our advantage, right? I mean, why wouldn't I? I can only take a guess. So there you go. So anyway, that's that money floating around. So when they're talking about the budget, let's all remember that they cry poverty, and the penguin will get up there and he's going to go, if we do that, then then we're going to have to decrease services. And you know what? Let me give you a little hint. They're decreasing services anyway. It doesn't matter. We've got a 13% tax increase over the last 2 years. 13%. And they're decreasing services. They're closing down swimming pools and this and that, user fees and upping parking meter and blah, blah, blah. $35 if you want to pass for the season. Like they're increasing water, they're increasing hydro. These are owned by the city. They don't tell you they're a tax. As a matter of fact, they separated the water out. So it wouldn't go on your tax bill, show up on your tax bill. They separated that out, right? You pay it separately. And that's because it keeps your tax bill looking lower. But your water rates are going up and your sewer rates are going up. That's a tax, no matter which way you look at it. So don't let them fool you. That's all I'm saying. Gary Wilkins, they don't fool us, do they? Yeah, so anyway, these overestimations, like and underestimations, all add to the ledger. And when the ledger reads negative, we have to pay. Even though at the end of the year we shouldn't have paid, we do. And that is never going to come out. We are never going to see a rebate of 5% from these guys. Tax and spend, mismanagement. Yep, call it what you want. Well, I get all my old tax bills from like 10 years ago. I've been looking at them. And believe me, no matter what they say, we've been hit by some pretty substantial increases. And I'll be talking more about this as we get up to the budget day. I hope that we can get someone in, perhaps that knows more about the budget than me, to comment on my thoughts. Stay tuned, because to this point, it looks like we're facing about a 4% increase this year, if not more, on top of the 4.9% last year and the 7.9% before that. Yeah, I think it was 4.9 last year, 7.9 in 2022, 23, 4.9, 24. No, 23 would have been 7.9, 24 would have been 4.9, and this year we're looking at another 4. So there you go. Argue with me if you want. I want to hear from people. If they know more than I do, I love it. Please clue me in. Clue me in. Okay, let's get my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. We're approaching the Christmas season, and you know what that means. Yes, that means pulling out your ladder, and I see a guy right over here with a big ladder out, and you got to climb that ladder. You got to hang your lights. There's cords all over the place. You fall off, break your neck. It ain't worth it. But you'll do it for Halloween, then you'll take all them down, and then you'll do it for Christmas. Why not never have to do it again? Yeah, why not choose that option? I never have to do this again. And that's why you call Hamilton Glowstone Lighting the leaders in permanent outdoor lighting. And guess what? They're going to come in. They're going to give you a quote. If you like it, they're going to put up track lighting on your house permanently. Never have to worry about it. How do you set them up? Right on your phone. Red and green for Christmas, you punch it into the zones. They build them in zones that light up different colors, or they can light up the same color. It's your preference. You set the zone what color you want. Green for St. Patrick's Day, orange for Halloween, red and green for Christmas. Your choice, the way you want to do it, and you do it right without having to climb ladders or fool around. LED lights, low on power. You won't have to worry about it running up your electricity bill like those old incandescent lights. Remember those big ones? They suck power like crazy. Nope, not these. LED, you can leave them on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and your bill probably won't even go up 10 cents maybe. You don't have to worry about that. They're all together. They're not plugs like in the you got to plug them in and cords all over. No. They're all soldered, sealed, impervious to dust and moisture. You don't have to worry about them. Lifetime warranty. That's how confident they are in their product. How do you get these wondrous lights that make your home more valuable and light up your pathways and walkways and make it safer? Well, you call Colin Buckborough at Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. His number, 289-969-1797. If you want to see the kind of work they do, just go to glowstonelighting.com, just like it sounds, glowstonelighting.com, and you can look at their handiwork in their gallery. Once again, Colin Buckborough is the guy you call, and the number is 289-969-1797. And guess what? Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He'll be happy. I'll be happy. Support our sponsors. They're great people, great businessmen from the Niagara region, and they do a lot for the community. Okay, so what else we got here? I'm just taxes. It always makes me makes me check my pockets. I don't know why. The wallet biopsy we get every year this time of year, right? Pick my pocket. Now, do I smell a provincial election coming up? I know a lot of people are saying that. Premier Ford is dressed as Santa right now, and he's giving away money. And when a politician gives away money, you know something is up. Am I right? Yes. First off, he's given everyone in Ontario at least 200 fazools. Yeah, in January you're going to get a check for $200. And it's going to help with the Christmas credit card bills, I guess. That's what he figures. Great time of year to give it to people when they've blown their minds out, blown their wad on Christmas presents they don't need, and they're looking for some cash to settle some charges on their cards. Now, he cites the liberal insidious carbon tax coming next April, along with automatic increases on alcohol at a time when Ontarians are hurting from devastating interest rates and high inflation. So this $200 is to help with that. At least $200. We might get more. You never know. He says we'll fuel the economy, and putting money in people's pockets is the way to do that. Okay, that's great. We'll get the $200. We'll go blow it. So yeah, it'll go back into the economy for sure, and it's tax free from what I hear, which is even better for me. This is going to be a nice little gift considering on April 1st, we're going to see the automatic carbon tax kick in, as well as the more taxes on booze. They're automatic. They'll set them up to be automatic. They automatically kick in. And of course, a minimum wage increase, that's usually in the mix for federal employees. And then it kicks in for us normal people on October the 1st. But yeah, I wouldn't doubt if you see a raise in the minimum wage coming up as well, which costs buddies like my buddy Chris Regas more money, tougher to run a business. They rev up inflation, kill business. The liberals are criminals. What am I going to tell you? They keep taking. They keep taking. Of course, the Three Stooges, Merritt Stiles, Bonnie Crombie, and Schreiner, and that's from the NDP Liberals and Green Party, hate when people get money. Oh, they hate when conservatives give people tax breaks or give them back money. That's their realm to tax and spend to buy votes, and Ford has upped them. He's one-upped them on this one, baby. That's right. He's one-upped them on this one. He got to bat before with these nice little givebacks. So they claim this is an election ploy, and seriously, we know it is. What do you think, we're stupid? Of course, it's an election ploy. But it's anticipated that Ford will call a provincial election before the 2026 election date. In this way, it may well be an indicator of a March election. People are saying this March they're going to have a snap election. Okay, well, I have no problem with that. It's right now he's looking like he's at with a 44% lead. His popularity in polls compared to Bonnie Crombie's 24% lead. She's the Liberal candidate. Merritt Stiles, 22% of the poll, and Mike Schreiner, the Green Party, 7%. So it may be a great time for him to get a mandate, right? And if they call it an election, they may have a shot at getting it. So you might see it. And just a note to everybody, please note that $200, it's your money they're giving you back. It's not like they're giving you anything. They're just giving you your money back. They're giving you your money back. You already gave it to them. Now they're giving it back, some back. It's your money. I mean, it's not like Ford's digging in his $1 million bank account. Now, he's not going to be outdone by just a measly $200 each. He's going to earn more, right? Now, he's also up the ante on highways. He's going to build more highways. He announced he's going to fast track construction of Highway 413, a 52-kilometer highway that runs from Highway 400 East to the 401, 407, connecting the regions of York, Peel, and Halton. Now, I should say that it's going to be the 413. That's what it's going to be. Right now, there's nothing. It's field. You got to build it. It also includes a 4-kilometer section of Highway 410 and a 3 kilometer section extension to Highway 427 for a total build of 59 kilometers of road for that 413. So they got to extend a couple other highways to make it work. 410, 4 kilometers, 427, 3 kilometers. 59 kilometers total. Now, he's also looking to complete the Bradford Bypass, which is a 16-kilometer stretch of freeway that will extend from Highway 400 across a small section of King Township in County of Simcoe and run to Highway 404. I'm going to do that too. Of course, the Three Stooges are all opposed to this, citing greenlands, farmlands, spotted warblers, tree frogs, who knows what else, maybe even crocodigators. They don't want to build anything, nothing. It's not, what do you call that? It's not green friendly, ecologically friendly, whatever they want to call it. If it was up to them, we'd be going back to horse and buggies. Yeah. Because they're friendly. Yeah. All natural horse and buggies. Then there's the granddaddy of them all, his build. So he's going to fast track. And that's the twinning of the Garden City Skyway, which Ford is itching to get started. He can't wait. So he's calling this the Build Highway Faster Act. Build Highways Faster Act. He had the Build Homes Faster Act. Now he's doing this one. And it's going to provide for 24/7 construction. No fooling around. They're going to work on it 24/7 until they're done. And on October 30th, he's having a fall economic statement. And he's going to be giving out all the juicy details of these projects. And he can, because he's leading in the polls. I'm yawning here. I was up at about 4:15 today, this morning. I can't sleep. I wake up and I get up. 4:15 this morning I was up. And so he's fast tracking all these highways. We're going to see it. Hopefully they get going on that Garden City Skyway. It needs it, and we'll start seeing them building soon. It's a big project. Going to employ a lot of people, and it'll be good for this region for sure. Okay, so where are we going now? Well, I got to go over. I've been watching this, and we had Dominic in here yesterday. Didn't talk too much about the Middle East, and the day before we had absolutely. So we didn't talk about it, but there's been a lot going on actually. So over the Middle East, the Israelis are taking care of business. These Hezbollah and the Houthis have been raining bombs on Israel. And they're responding, of course, Israel. So 2 days ago on a strike in Beirut, no, it wasn't in Beirut. It was in Gaza, southern Gaza. They eliminated Yahya Sinwar, the Yahya Sinwar band. Well, they don't exist anymore. Their leader has expired. He's left the building. He's another leader of Hamas and one of the big boys. And he was allegedly the key engineer of the October 7th massacre that killed over 1,200 innocent Israelis and took over 300 hostages that have still not been returned. A lot of them are dead now. It's been a year. So basically, with the death of Sinwar, they've cleaned out the rat's nest of leaders of these proxy terrorist groups of Iran. And this really, really crippled Hamas. A video showed Sinwar, and I don't know if you've seen this video, but it's friggin' amazing. He was fighting with a bunch of guys, and they attacked. They got him with tank shells and I think a missile, and it blew his arm off. He's sitting there, and he's got like this part of his arm is gone. He's sitting on a couch. He's got this grayish. Well, it was grayish because all the crap fell on him, all the dust from the bombs. When he ran into this thing and he sat down on a chair, you can hardly see him in the chair. So they saw a bunch of people run in this building. So they threw a drone in the air, and the drone flew in the building, right? And there he is sitting in a chair, like a living room chair, not a kitchen chair, a living room chair. his arm on the thing, half it blown off, and the drone flies in, and all you see is his eyes through this wrap he had around his head, and he throws a stick at the drone. And then the drone takes off, and of course they go in and take care of him, drag his body back to Israel to make sure it was him. Sure enough, it was from DNA. They had DNA from this guy because he's a bad guy. He's been a bad guy for a long time, and they've been trying to get him. So basically, the Israelis removed the body and checked it out, and they found yes, it was him from DNA and dental records. So over the past 2 decades, this guy has been a ruthless and committed enemy of Israel and the U.S., with the U.S. officials saying it was a good day for the world upon hearing of his death. And they're right. Terrorist. They called him the architect of hostage taking, mass murder, and mass rape in the invasion of Israel just over a year ago. Not a nice guy. So Sinwar was really against ending the war with Israel and releasing the hostages. He was one of the main guys saying, no, we're not going to do that. And right now, because they've decimated the leadership of these groups, the U.S. isn't even sure who the heck they're going to deal with to negotiate any kind of a settlement. Haniyeh and Sinwar, being the two biggies, are now out of the picture. Netanyahu called this killing the beginning of the end of Hamas, and is an opportunity for all Palestinians to finally break free from Hamas's tyranny. Tyranny. So there you go. He's gone. He's gone. That's it. There's nothing we can do. He's gone, which is a good thing. Got rid of another one. Now, let's see if somehow they can figure this all out and get our guys, get the guys out of there and have a peace deal and quit killing people. Quit killing people. I mean, put down your arms, Hamas. You're done. Put down your arms and release the hostages, and let's end this thing. But you know what? They're still getting a big push from Iran. And when they get the big push from Iran, they're emboldened and they think they can go on, although they're going to be beat because there's other stuff that's going on that eventually is going to clean them out. Yeah, one of those things is the U.S., the Americans have decided enough is enough with these Houthis in the south there in Yemen causing trouble. And what they've done is they've sent their B-2 bombers in, the B-2 Spirit, right out of, I think it's, I think it's out of the Air Force Base in Missouri. Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri. They sent the B-52 or B-2s, maybe more than one. I don't know. They're stealth, right? From the United States over to Yemen to deal with these Houthis, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. And to give you a little bit more information about that from a thing that I watch, a video of the guy that I watch, a podcaster called Dabu77. Really good. He's got the inside take on a lot of things. I've been watching him for years, actually. Very good. I heard a podcast of an interesting take on the U.S. election. The host started talking about what would happen if Trump wins the election. And a lot of people are saying that the Democrats will not accept this win and a possible civil war could break out. And, that sounds crazy, right? Because they're the ones who impeached Trump and said that he was trying to take over the government. He wouldn't accept the results of the election. They impeached him for it. They took him to trial for it. And they're even trying to cancel the election if he gets elected. I talked about that on my show on Tuesday, that the vice president has to sign off on the election like Pence did, even though Trump said that it was rigged. Pence signed off on it, and that's when Pence became a pariah. And the vice president has to sign off on the results. And if Kamala Harris refuses to sign off, then because they say he's an insurrectionist, he shouldn't even have been able to run because of the insurrection he tried to pull to overthrow the Biden government after the election. So she's not going to sign it because he's not eligible to be president. That's what they're saying. But a lot of people are saying it's going to be a civil war. Civil war could break out. Like I say, they've impeached him twice, indicted him 4 times, have tried to assassinate him twice that we know of. Do you think a civil war is possible, seeing as how the left is trying their best to ensure that he never becomes president again? I mean, it's totally possible. The rhetoric they're flying around, get rid of him now. We got to stop him before he gets elected. Somehow we got to stop him. I mean, if that isn't telling people, hey, just get rid of him, nobody's going to hold you responsible. They're trying to say it's best if he never becomes president. And it could get ugly after the results of the November 5th election, because the way I see it, it's going to be a landslide for Trump as it stands now. We'll talk about that in a minute, too. So the left is still encouraging wacko groups to do something about Trump since they know they are losing bad, calling him a threat to democracy and saying they can't let him run the White House. They can't let him win the White House. It's going to be the end of America. People have to do something. The threats against Trump are being fueled by this rhetoric that infirm Biden said would stop after the Butler assassination attempt, but they've only gotten worse. And you hear Kamala all the time saying this. And you have to fear for Trump right now. Whether you're left or right, you have to fear for his life. I mean, they've tried. He's in danger from these left-wing loonies running around the country listening to Kamala and Tampon Tim. And it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I mean, they might as well call and say it. Somebody in this country has got to go out and kill him. It's so ridiculous. And when you put Kamala into a real interview, not with Howard Stern or call her daddy or whatever that's called me daddy and Colbert and all these other talk show hosts that are really just Kamala supporters, and they giggle with her and drink beer with her and all the other baloney that goes on. She had to do a real serious interview with Brett Baer from Fox, and she did it the other night. And seriously, Brett Baer knows more about being vice president or president than she does. And he took her to task on all her nonsense, and she tried to do the old rope-a-dope. Just lay against the ropes and take punches and not have to come out fighting. But she couldn't. She was held to task, and she failed miserably. It was a terrible interview for her. And it was so bad that her people were calling for the interview to wrap up. They're going like this, wrap it up. And she was only on for about 25 minutes. And they wanted it over because she was doing so bad. Brett Baer was just taking her to the woods. And she had explicit instructions, and you could tell this because every time she was stuck for an answer, she couldn't answer because there are no answers. She was terrible as vice president. The policies that her and Biden ran were terrible, open borders and everything else. So there's in the economy and foreign affairs. I mean, look what a mess this world's in. So all she could do was deflect to Trump. Deflect to Trump. Here's her instructions. Kamala, you don't know the answer. Deflect to Trump. Call Trump a dictator. Call him, he's going to take away democracy. He's going to take away free speech. He's going to take a woman's rights away. I mean, I tell you, go deflect to that if all else fails. And he asked her when she first noticed Biden's mental ability was being affected by his affliction. And when did it start? She noticed that it started to affect his performance. She wouldn't answer it. She said he was fine, right? And she said he was fine the week before they gassed him. And that was after the big debate. I mean, that was the start of it. And then he did a horrible appearance, and Obama had to lead him off stage. Terrible. And she knew all about it. She knew this guy couldn't do the job. She knew other people were running the government, and she never said nothing. She lied about it, actually. So she should really be impeached. Didn't want to answer that question. And I mean, she wasn't elected. She's not informed. Totally lost on the economy, the border, domestic affairs, foreign affairs, and basically everything's been handed to her. She got put in a position to run for president without being elected, no votes. She got appointed by Willie Brown as district attorney, or whatever the hell she was, crown district attorney in California, and she got voted in senator with help from Obama and everybody else. And she's never had to fight for anything, so she don't know. I mean, she thinks she deserves this. She deserves to be president. Now the party's in panic mode. They know she's done. Even Obama can't save this train wreck of a candidate. And I have to predict a Trump landslide. I just don't see anybody voting for this kook. And at the end of the day, he's so far ahead because nobody in the right mind is going to vote for Kamala. She's a fraud and a liar. And that's about that. And offers nothing as VP. Certainly should not even be considered for president, no matter what the left wingers are saying, including Springsteen. No matter what he says, all these celebrities, forget about them. Forget about them. I think when it comes down to it, they're going to get in that voting booth. And I'm just going to shut this door. There's some people coming in the studio. I don't want to be interrupted. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get in the voting booth. They're going to pull the lever for Donald Trump. I don't think they're going to pull the lever for Kamala. Even the big shots, even these guys know that she just can't run the country. She's incompetent. She has nothing. You can see it in the interviews. She has nothing. No answers, nothing, not a thing. So in reality, they can't vote for her. And they're not going to, I don't think. I don't think they'll vote for her. Let's get to my third sponsor. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Yeah, you love pizza? I do. One of my favorite foods of all time, pizza. Pizza and pasta. Could eat them every day. Not good for you, but I like it. And the godfather of Gabagool likes it too. But if you want a good pizza, go down and see Mike at Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Mike was in the restaurant business, and he ran and worked for an Italian restaurant for 15 years, and then took over the Pete's Pizza franchise on Victoria Avenue. And using the old Mancini family recipes, where the Pete's Pizza started in St. Catharines back 40 years ago, he makes some fine pizza pies. And using the Mancini recipe for crust and sauce comes out great. And Mike knows how to mix that right ratio of sauce and cheese on the pizza so it's correct. And he tells me about he always tells me about his cheese, right? He uses Saputo mozzarella, the real good stuff. And he takes the Saputo mozzarella and mixes it with brick cheese. So you got a real nice blend of cheeses on the pizza in the right ratios. How can you go wrong? And get this. He extended his hours of operation because he knows people get hungry at night and there's nothing open. They're usually closed by 9 or 10 o'clock, these pizzerias, maybe earlier. So what's he's done? He keeps his hours running till 11 o'clock on Sunday to Thursday, and then he opens the pizzeria Friday and Saturday till 2 in the morning. Yeah, until 2 in the morning. So come back from having a couple of wobbly pops and want a little bit to eat, bada bing, bada boom, Pete's Pizza. Yeah, there you go. Open, ready for you. And don't think they just have pizza. They have poutine. They have subs. They have a lot of different things. You got to go see their menu. They got it all. Panzerotti. They got everything. They got everything in there. You got to get one of their menus and check it out. Have whatever you want. Lots of stuff in there. And Mike's a great guy too. How do you get a hold of them? Well, you dial 905-374-2222 if you want to order by phone, or you go to their website. You can order right on the website. I think it's like Victoria. I think it's Victoria Pizza. There's a Pizza Victoria. Let me get it here for you so we got it right. Yeah, we don't want to give you the wrong address, right? I'm gonna check my paperwork here. Come on, I'm doing some paperwork. Give me a break, everybody. Okay, we got to get this right. Pete's Pizza Victoria.ca. That's what the right one is. Pete's Pizza Victoria.ca. You can order right online for your convenience. How can you beat that? Grab yourself a great pizza tonight for supper from Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you, and support our sponsors. They support us, support our sponsors, so we can continue to bring you these shows every day. See my mug, and maybe that's not a good promotion right there. Now I was telling you about this B-52 stuff and this Dabu 7. Well, Dabu 77, you can see him on YouTube if you want. Says that in that Israeli strike on Syria, they hit a Russian facility, which now drags Russia into the war with Iran since they're part of the axis of evil. Now, Dabu 77 says Russia is warning them that if they, Israel, targets Iranian oil and nuclear plants, it affects Russia. Netanyahu said they weren't targeting those facilities, and then he followed up with a giant explosion at an oil refinery in Iran. So there was this giant explosion right after Netanyahu said that he wouldn't do it. Now, Dabu 77 thinks that World War III is close. The sides have been chosen: Russia, Iran, North Korea, and China versus the U.S. and Israel and anybody else in that regard, the NATO forces. With so many missiles being sent into Israel, wearing down the Iron Dome, and retaliatory weapons being used, it can only be fired by people who know how to use them. So, when you see these cruise missiles and everything else being fired off, a lot of times they have to be programmed by Americans who know how to program them. So they leave a really good footprint. When somebody sees one of these hitting somewhere and they decide it's from Israel, you can almost bet that it's been programmed by Americans because they know how to do it. Now, the U.S. has also deployed the B-2 bomber, like I said, from Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri. It flies over there, does its bombing run, and goes home. It fuels in midair, of course. So this hasn't really been used in a long time to bomb anybody. The bomber can deliver the bunker buster bombs, and the B-2 is the only aircraft in the world that can drop the biggest bunker busters of all. So they're the ones dropping these MOABs, mother of all bombs. So it's active. It's in the region, flying in from Whitman, like I said, and it's always flying over the area now. So they've got them flying over that area constantly, just waiting. And the last big run was on the Houthis, and they blew up a bunch of crap with these huge bombs, huge explosions. So they're getting involved with that. Now, Dabu 77 goes on to say that because they're flying out of the United States and doing this damage, the only way to stop them is to attack Whitman Air Force Base. So, I mean, if that ever happened, and don't think that these wackos won't attack them from inside the USA or from outside the USA. Either way, if they did that, that would be a major, horrific escalation to what's going on. Now, Israel says it wants to attack Iran before the election on November 5th. So this isn't getting any better, and it's getting closer. And we can only hope and pray that there's somebody that can stop this before it happens. I don't think you'll see it from Biden or Harris. Number one, they're too weak. Number two, they've had a year to try to figure this out, and they haven't figured it out yet. And I don't see them figuring it out in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Terrible, terrible. And I don't know what the hell's going to happen. We've got another, today's the 18th. We've got till, November 5th. So we got 18 and 23 days, maybe less, 19 days or something, they said. Now I figured out 18, 13 is 31 and another 5. 18 days. 18 days to figure this all out. 2 weeks, basically. And try to stop this before it really gets good. Because once Israel goes in there and starts bombing the hell out of Iran, which they promised they're going to do before the election, then we got some real problems that are going to be popping up. And we really don't want that. We really don't want that. So let's pray somebody can take this by the horns and go get it settled. I have a good feeling that once Trump gets in, he can settle all this. That's his forte. That's his bag. That's what he does the best. That's why you never saw any wars when Trump was president. He had them all in line. North Korea, Iran, Russia, and China. They were all in line. They weren't pulling any stunts. He made it clear what would happen if they crossed any kind of a line that he said. Not lip service. Trump don't give lip service. He said he was going to go out and get these guys. He took out Soleimani. He took out al-Baghdadi. There's still a price on his head from Iran for taking out Soleimani. So this is going down. And Dabu 7 follows it closer than I do. He follows all of this, all the movements in the United States. Everything going on. He's pretty tuned in, this guy. Don't know who he is. Don't know what he's done. But he's pretty tuned in, to be honest with you. When he talks, I listen because he's pretty good at what he says. Oh, who's this lady yelling at? Lady walking down the street in fatigues, the cigarette hanging out of her yap, yelling. I don't know. Oh, she's yelling again. I don't know what she's doing. Seriously, folks, downtown, where all the lights are bright. Okay, so what do we got? That's the end of today's show. That's it. I'm done. I'm saying everything. Now I got to wait for the weekend to see what else happens and all these different things. But we won't be talking about that on Monday, of course, because Monday is City Council Agenda Day. Tune in for that one. And if you don't get a chance to tune in at noon, of course, you can always wait for the video. It's usually up by about 3:30 in the afternoon. I get it up by, she is. She's quit yelling. She's coming back this way now. Dun, 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 dun. Oh. No, she's giving hand signals. Yeah, I think she's under the influence of something. She looked at her watch that she doesn't have on. So anyway, it's City Council Agenda Review. Like I say, you can catch it on the video in the afternoon about 3:30. I'll post it. We're doing it on Mondays because we really never had time. I never had time to get, I shouldn't say I never had time to get it on. By the time we do the show on Tuesday, and I don't get it on before the actual council meeting starts. It starts at 4 o'clock on Tuesdays. So we run on Mondays now with the agenda review so that you can watch the video and get some insight into what's going on at the council meeting, and then watch the council meeting at 4 o'clock if you so desire. And that's on NiagaraFalls.ca live. Kojigo TV sometimes carries it, and of course on YouTube. You just search City of Niagara Falls City Council meeting, and it usually comes up. So we head to the end of October and Halloween, and then Remembrance Day, then American Thanksgiving, and then we're on our way to Christmas. Not far away, ladies and gentlemen, not far away. Anyway, tune in the videos, subscribe to the videos, hit the notification button, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, give me some comments on anything I've talked about, and I'll talk about it on air. When I read the comments, I'll make note of them and talk about it. And I'm sure my buddy Wheels has something to say about some of the stuff we talk about and that. And we always talk about it anyway. And we thank our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza for being a part of the show. We thank our listeners. We thank our watchers on YouTube when they go to the YouTube channel. And we're signing off for the day and the weekend. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's going to be a beauty. Temperatures are going to go up, and that's great. I'm happy with that for this time of year because the alternative is winter, and we really don't want to see that yet. I'm not ready for it yet. I'm not ready for winter yet. So let's keep it at bay and have a good weekend. Be safe out there. We'll see you Monday with City Council Agenda Review with Dave Wheeler. Ciao for now. Paul K. Lemire, your city, your voice, in downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio. Thank you for tuning in. See you Monday.